Boku no Hero is definitely one of those shows where I don't find it to be a terrible show. I actually enjoy it at some moments of the show, but there's definitely some things that need to be fixed. And it's easy. The popularity for this show is crazy. It's very very popular. It kind of reminds me of how Naruto was when it first began, and how easy it was to get Naruto accessible to younger fans, older fans, just a broad group of people, and that's why I think it's succeeding the way it is now. But I just don't believe that the popularity is yet justified. But that's just because the show is just so young. It's what, on season 3, season 4 coming up in October, and I just think people need to let it have some time to breathe, let it have some time to mature a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's definitely a show that garners that attention, that popularity, that hype, I guess you could say. It definitely deserves it by the flashes it's shown so far. But I think it's a great starter anime for newcomers, and it's hit or miss for casual or hardcore fans. It just depends on what animes you watch as a hardcore fan or casual fan. But that's what I'm going to talk about now. Now, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you basically either know the premise of the show or have watched it yourself, so I will not bore you with the plot. Let's just get right at it. Deku is actually mentally retarded when it comes to his quirk. The first season, when he finally gets his power, he just goes apeshit. With no regard to how to control his power, he just does what he does, and there's no repercussions because there's a hacked ass nurse lady with the quirk of healing, and basically anytime he has a problem, he just hits her up. She gives him the pills, the perkies, whatever the fuck, and he just goes on about his day. I just feel like it's the most inconvenient plot hole. Not really a plot hole, but it's the most inconvenient ass pull. He just does what he wants, and there's no repercussions to it. He's actually the Derrick Rose of the anime world with no repercussions. It's just unfair, I think. I think it's a part of the show. It's obviously a part of the show. All Might makes it a very key point that it's important that Deku needs to master his power. But I guess Deku doesn't understand that. As the story progresses, character development, it's not that great. Deku, they only focus on the character development of Deku. Basically, Bakugo just stays an asshole for the entire series. He may change, but he's just basically a dickhead. Todoroki is a cool ass motherfucking side character as always. Dark Shadow as well. Ida is a fucking tryhard. Uraraka, she's just a fucking basic bitch. I just the story, it's okay. The villain arc with Killer Stain, that basically ended in like fucking 2 seconds. They just triple teamed that motherfucker, and Ida's laying on the ground fucking holding his knee like he on some Gordon Hayward type shit. But the story isn't all that great, but season 4 coming, hopefully it gets better. But that's it for story wise. Now, for this section of the video, I didn't add any of the adult characters because I wanted to mainly focus on Class A. Are they? Class B? I forgot. I haven't seen the show in a while. But I want to start off with my favorite character, Todoroki. I honestly think he's too good for the show. His quirk is just insanely powerful. He has half ice, half fire, and at one point he was just using his eyesight and he was still killing everyone in the fucking show. Like, he was just better than everyone. Smart wise, he's intelligent as hell. The way he uses his quirk, he's very powerful with it. And you can see that in terms of his family, he's not really looked at as he's not welcome with open arms. As you can see with that whole dynamic, and I think that's very cool that they added that in there because I think he's one of the only characters in the show with family problems like that we've seen so far, and it definitely goes into why he has such a powerful quirk. He sacrificed a lot having such a powerful quirk, but I just think he's great. If he doesn't end up like by the end of the show, if him and Deku don't end up as equals, at least the show's fucking fake and they're cock stroking Deku. But on to Bakugo. I honestly fucking hate this kid. Like, he's such a fucking douchebag. Like, it's just, I hate to bring up Naruto, but it's like the only show that I can go to that I know very well. Sasuke was pretty dickish towards Naruto, but I don't think it was ever to this extent. Like, bro, Bakugo fucking hates Deku. Like, there is no sort of friendship there at all. And I don't get why Deku's all over that motherfucker's cock every single day. But I guess it's just not really he looks up to him, but you know, he resents him kind of, but in a nice Deku bitch nigga way. But I mean, you can't hate on Bakugo. He's fucking cold as shit still, even though his little attitude's pretty shitty. And he can basically he can hang with anyone on the show. Now, I'm going to move on to the most slept on character of the show, I feel, because no one talks about him, seemingly. Dark Shadow. He's actually so fucking good in this show. He's so slept on. He has the potential to be one of the most OP characters in the show if he gets more control of his Dark Shadow quirk. In the tournament, when he was on Deku's team and Deku found him, no one picked that motherfucker up. Bro, he was such a god. Like, when I was watching the show, I honestly sat back in my seat just staring at this kid. I think his animation, the way they animated him is like so perfect. The way the bird inside of him just reaches out. I think it's honestly animated perfectly. It's great. He's very underrated in my opinion, and I think he has potential to be one of the top characters in the show. He'll probably end as like number 5 superhero. But yeah, let's move on to shitty motherfuckers. Now, Ida. When I first started the show, I thought Ida was gonna be like one of the most OP characters because he comes from a hero family. He has a pretty good quirk. He has the jet quirk in his legs. You know, there's many different ways to manipulate that. His fucking suit is cold as hell. He had a nice backstory with his brother, Killer Stain killing his brother or whatever. That shit's fire. He had everything to set up for him to be such a fucking gangster. And he's such a little bitch. Like, I think it's more of they needed a character to fill in for the smart aspect of the show or whatever. You know, every show has to have their smart character. But honestly, Ida is such a pussy. I can't name one part in the show where I was honestly just thrown aback by Ida, because he honestly does nothing in the fucking show. He's just there. But that's besides the point. You know, he definitely has a lot of potential, so I can't say much. It's just as the story progresses, we gotta see how good he does, you know, mastering his quirk. Now, Uraraka. At first, I didn't really have a problem with Uraraka, and then I realized how good her quirk could actually be. She has a pretty good quirk, the levitation quirk. She can levitate other people and herself and objects, but she chooses to levitate fucking lamps and couches and bullshit like that. I guess you could say she's a support character, but like, she's so fucking whack. Like, I know it seems like I want all these characters to just stand out and be OP, and you know, you can't be like that. Every character can't be like that, and I understand that. But I mean, I guess you could say she plays her role. It's just so disappointing because I feel like the show has like not that many good lead female characters. You got the fucking AirPods bitch. She's actually pretty good for what her quirk is. She manipulates her quirk pretty well. Creation, she's okay. You know, she doesn't really do much. The best girl superhero is probably fucking the Frogger bitch. She had her own show, or she had her own episode when she was on that boat, and I think she was with the other superhero when they were all with different superheroes. I could be wrong, don't fact check me. And she was doing work. She was actually doing work. Her quirk is actually very creative, and I like the way she went upon it. But other than that, the girls in the show fucking are terrible. And then I just got a list of people I'm fucking confused about. So we got 2 motherfuckers with the same quirk. The Iron motherfucker and the Hardened nigga. What is the reasoning behind that? I'm just curious, because what were the writers thinking in the show? What were the writers thinking when they made 2 of the motherfuckers with the same exact quirk? Like, and they don't do shit in the show. That's what bothers me. one of them is Bakugo's little bitch, and the other one I think he's like in class, whatever the fuck. And then you got the nigga who got fucking scotch tape coming out his elbows. What the fuck is he supposed to be, knockoff Spider-Man? But you know, do you? And then the last but not least, I'm not really mad at this one because it's actually I'm 100% sure it's for comedic relief. But the nigga with the fucking balls on his head, like. Like, honestly, he serves no purpose, but that nigga is just funny as fuck, and I can't even hate on them for that. But just the quirk, like, what a fucking weird ass quirk to come up with. But yeah, like, that's it for characters. That nigga's just funny as fuck though. Now, do I think Boku no Hero is bad anime? No, not at all. I think it's a great anime. I'm just more of a casual watcher. I don't really watch a lot of anime, but when I do, I make sure it's the right ones. Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, Tokyo Ghoul, those are my shits. Like I like anime with meaning. And I definitely do think Boku has meaning, don't get me wrong. But it's more of a starter anime, I think, for sure. Just like One Punch Man. I think they're both starter anime for people who are transitioning into anime. It has a lot of potential. I can definitely see it taking over Naruto's spot in terms of dynamic, in terms of that being the anime show that everyone knows, like just like DBZ. It definitely has the potential to be in the number one spot, just like Naruto once was. And Naruto still is, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it can definitely take up the mantle. It has a lot of potential. I know I've said potential about 80 times in this video, but it definitely holds true. It's a great anime. I'm being impatient with the story right now. Story's taking just a little bit to pick up, but that's okay. I'm hoping season 4 comes with a bang. You know, these first 3 seasons have been slow, but that's okay. You know, anime doesn't start off perfect. But other than that, that's my only thoughts on the show. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.